Chapter 4. Avni felt her heart jolt as her laptop dinged with yet another email notification. Another reminder that her investigation into the tangled web of campaign finance was both urgent and precarious. Her office was quiet except for the constant buzz of her computer's fan. In the hushed early evening, with only a single desk lamp shining, the documents scattered around her desk resembled a detective's lair more than a journalist's workspace. She pushed her chair back, ran a hand through her hair, and narrowed her eyes at the figures on the screen. She had been mapping corporate transactions for days, following the money from political campaigns back to various shell companies. The same question plagued her. How does Khanna Constructions fit into all of this? It was always tangential, always hidden among a dozen corporate layers. Yet the deeper she dug, the more suspicious it became. She opened a new file, cross-referencing line items from a defunct vendor known as Aeronav Solutions. Her heart thrummed in anticipation as she found a consistent pattern of deposits and withdrawals, until it all led back to a single conglomerate, Khanna Constructions. She scrolled further, her breath catching in her throat. The transactions, all large sums of money, were routed to a lesser-known political party's fund. That party had only recently become embroiled in allegations of bribery and corruption. Avni's mind raced. She had discovered a hidden vein of collusion that implicated Arjun's company. Though, from the looks of it, the involvement was likely unintentional. Still, the revelation was enough to ruin Khanna Constructions' reputation, if publicly exposed without context. Would Arjun risk it all to conceal these dealings? She wondered. Or would he come clean if he learned the truth? She stared at the name Khanna Constructions on the screen, remembering Arjun's expression at their last meeting. Proud, guarded, yet strangely sincere when cornered. Perhaps she should give him the benefit of the doubt. Or at the very least, the chance to verify his own company's innocence. She grabbed her phone and stepped out into the hallway to clear her head. Each step echoed off the silent walls as she contemplated her next move. Publishing a bare-bones story now would be sensational, but it could also bury Arjun, irrespective of his actual knowledge or involvement. That wasn't justice. That was a witch hunt. Avni had always promised herself that her journalism would expose wrongdoers, not create scapegoats. With a steadying breath, she pressed Arjun's number. When he picked up, he sounded surprised, as if he'd expected never to hear from her again. I found something, she said, cutting to the chase. And it involves your company. His pause was telling. I see, he said finally, his tone guarded. Where are you? Meet me at the Lantern, that cafe near Barriston Street. I'll be there in half an hour. He hesitated again. Then, all right. I'm on my way. The Lantern was typically lively at dinner time, filled with people enjoying light meals and coffee. Tonight, however, it felt subdued. A drizzle outside lent a foggy glow to the street lamps, and the patter of rain against the windows provided a hushed, intimate ambience. Avni picked a corner table away from the main crowd, setting up her laptop so Arjun could see the pertinent files without prying eyes. She sipped her tea, doing her best to quell her nerves. Since their last confrontation, they had managed only stiff encounters. Each had been determined to defend their honor. Yet now, she was about to present him evidence that could either unite them or reignite their feud. Arjun arrived precisely on time, his suit slightly damp from the rain. His hair glistened with raindrops, and a faint trace of water dotted his usually impeccable collar. He took the seat across from her, his expression unreadable. You said it was urgent, he began, voice controlled. Avni slid the laptop toward him. Have a look. He leaned in, eyes scanning the spreadsheets. She explained her tracing process in brief, using the cursor to highlight the funds that flowed from Khanna Constructions through a chain of dubious vendors, ultimately landing in the coffers of known corrupt politicians. His frown deepened. You're sure about this? He asked. I've never seen or authorized anything like it. Avni believed him. She could see the shock in his eyes. That's what I figured. But intentionally or not, your company funded a corrupt campaign. It's only a matter of time before the media picks up the pieces. Arjun closed the laptop gently, folding his hands together on the table. He glanced up at her with a mix of apprehension and curiosity. Why come to me? You could have gone public with this, spun a sensational story, and let the world point fingers at my family. She exhaled, leaning back in her chair. I'm not looking for sensational. I'm looking for the truth. Someone inside your company orchestrated these deals. I'd rather work with you to expose them than tear your entire business down on the basis of a few rogue elements. Arjun studied her intently. The tension in his shoulders eased, though it didn't vanish entirely. You're proposing we collaborate? Avni nodded. You have access to internal records, board communications, contract sign-offs that I can't get legally without risking a lawsuit. If you help me uncover who set up these shell vendors, I can expose the right people. You clear your company's name, and maybe salvage your reputation. It's a win-win. He ran a hand over his face, clearly conflicted. This goes against every corporate survival instinct I've ever learned. My father's always taught me to deny first, question later. Let me guess, Avni said wryly. He's not the type to believe in transparency. Arjun gave her a wry half-smile. He believes in preserving the company at all costs. But if what you're saying is true, there are people on our payroll who have used us as a front for illegal activity. I can't allow that. Then we work together, Avni said simply, offering her hand across the table. He hesitated for a fraction of a second before shaking it, his grasp firm but cautious. I don't know if we'll ever see eye to eye, Avni, but if you're being honest. I am, she interjected. He nodded. Then we have an unlikely truce. A charged silence fell, an undercurrent of shared purpose momentarily dissolving their previous animosity. They both understood this collaboration might bring out more truths than either bargained for. Yet for the first time, trust, tentative and unspoken, hovered in the space between them. Steeling themselves for what lay ahead, they left the cafe together. And though the future felt uncertain, one thing was clear. They were no longer enemies in this fight for the truth. Chapter 4.